I used to work at a middle-of-nowhere McDonald's just outside Port Richmond, Virginia. Spooky, right? But a few months ago, something terrible happened to one of the staff that for some reason justified erasing the place off the map. Not to say I'm sad to see the place gone. Now, the thing about fast food is that it attracts two kinds of people. Poor but intelligent people who are working towards a bigger picture, and total losers who have given up hope. I belong to the latter group, but Grace, man, she was the queen of the former. When we both started together about 8 months ago, I knew straight away that this girl was far out of my league. She was so cool and down to earth and beautiful. She had this way of just accepting people and finding a way to admire them, no matter the person. It didn't matter that she was beautiful, educated, and better than me in every way. When you're the standard suburban mom set the kids not to be, you don't come across that kind of acceptance every day, you know? After months of working together, yeah, we got close, but not what you're thinking. So, it must have been mid-June or something, and we had both been working the drive-thru together for a couple of weeks. When you spend a large portion of your life serving even larger assholes from a tiny window, you get real familiar with the view. I spent so much time staring out that window, I even started to recognize the cars that drove by. But after my first few weeks, there was one in particular I started to look out for. I thought it must have been the ex-con jitters or growing up where I did, but I started to get a real bad feeling about this car as the days went by. It was an old Ford truck, one of the 87 F-150 models. Once upon a time, it would have been a real beauty. Now the red body of the truck was rusted beyond recognition, and the white stripes were a sickly yellow, like rotting teeth. The windows of the truck were the only things that survived the past 20 years unscathed, as they clearly weren't standard. The whole truck was so heavily tinted, I can't understand how the thing was still on the road. The cops are real eager around here, or maybe that's just my experience. Anyway, the first time I saw the truck, it was just parked in the lot across the road. Nothing unusual about that other than the weird vibe I got from it. The next day, from the booth overlooking the drive, I saw the car again, and again, and again. Maybe it was 30, 40 times that day. I think it was just driving in circles for some reason. Suffice to say, at this point, I'm starting to get real suspicious of this truck. It was looking quiet that night, but the manager was always up my ass if I left my post. So I gave Grace a quick text and asked her to watch the window for me while I went to the bathroom. When I came back, I asked her about the car and she got really quiet. Said that a couple of minutes after I left, she saw the car come down the road and hit the brakes for apparently no reason. She said it just stayed there, just doing nothing in an empty road. That it felt like whoever was in there was looking at her. I guess it freaked her out when I told her I'd seen it around as well, because she went back to work, then went home before her shift ended. It was the first time I'd seen her anything less than offensively happy. The next day, Grace didn't show up, so I covered her drive-thru shift. There was a big queue that evening, so instead of looking out for the truck, I was real focused on working through the white trash piling up along the drive-thru. So focused that I didn't notice the truck when it came to the window. So far as I could see, it had just driven up out of nowhere. So the truck stops at my window and I finally notice I can't even breathe. My eyes are locked on the tar black window, straining for a sight of the driver, but I can't see anything. I just get this feeling that I'm staring down a barrel of crude oil and something staring right back at me. I don't know what else to do and I'm just having a staring contest with this window. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the car races off, tires screeching as it races off into the night. I try to tell my manager, but of course he just tells me to get a grip and deal with my crap. What an a-hole. The next day, Grace came back to work and she seemed back to her old self. I was still reeling from last night, and when I told her what had happened, we were both pretty spooked. After a quick smoke, we both agreed that it was probably just some creep playing a joke on us, but we would both keep our eye out just in case. I saw it only briefly that night. It was driving real slow down the road beyond the hill. Its lights were off, so I could only see the truck by the light of the cars behind. Behind it, the traffic was building up and you could hear the horns blaring, followed by curses that were cut short as people got close enough to see the windows. Before long, the truck raced off again, apparently done for the evening. When the time came for my regular nature break, Grace was happy to take my spot again. That was the last time I saw her. I must have been gone for 2 minutes at the most, but by the time I returned to the window, Grace was gone and the sound of screeching tires pierced the night. I ran into the back and called the police, told the manager what I thought had happened, and pushed my way into the office to look at the security tapes. The manager was busy hollering about regulations beyond the door, but I didn't really give a crap. As I turned on the computer and set up the tape, I saw what had happened. The cameras had picked up everything. On the screen, it played out like a bad horror short. The truck had rolled up out of nowhere as soon as I had gone with the lights off, and Grace had seen it too late. She tried her best to get out of there, but before she could get out, I can't believe I'm freaking saying this, but something came bursting out from inside the truck. 2 long black arms, so thin and sinewy that they seemed more like dead branches than limbs. They thrust out through the darkness where the driver's window should be and wrapped themselves around Grace's mouth and torso. To reach that far, they must have been at least 6 feet long. It was over in about 2 seconds. Grace was pulled headfirst from the drive-thru into the window that never freaking opened. And that was that. The police closed down the whole joint after they took my statement. All of us, management included, got let go so fast they had to pay us unemployment. We've been looking for her ever since. It's been 6 months now, and turns out Grace's family are incredibly awesome people. One of her uncles even took me on as an apprentice mechanic. No more make a-holes for me. It turns out that one of my friend's dads, Justin, was working on the case. The guy hates me, but Justin had finally managed to probe him for information. Today, after we met up and spoke about it, I'm convinced that what happened in that booth was even more sinister than I first imagined. The police haven't turned up anything. Turns out the plate number I gave them belongs to a truck on the other side of the country. They never even managed to see the thing on any of the other cameras in the area, and they checked them all. It's like the car picked her up, blasted out of the drive-thru, and just vanished. Well, there was one tape they didn't get to look at more than briefly. According to Justin, his dad told him that the whole department was up in arms because a couple of suits came in and confiscated the original tape maybe 2 days after the kidnapping. Told the whole force to drop the case and leave it to the feds. No one believes me, not even Grace's family. Even the cops that saw the tape are keeping real quiet for some reason. But I am not crazy. I saw that window. And I know that whatever took Grace from the booth that day wasn't anything natural. These days I'm always looking at the road. Even when I'm working at the garage, I've got an eye out on the horizon, waiting for a car with tar black windows.